Welcome to Hoppy Licks, where the only thing more hopped up than the licks is my 10-year-old self. I'm Pixie Sticks and Surge. So in true Easter spirit, we're going to talk about how you can kind of hop around and go octave hunting, just like any good bunny rabbit would do. And we're going to actually use a couple examples. The first one's going to sound like this. And what this is going to do is just kind of teach us a way that we can find a root note all over the fretboard, okay? We're going to start with the G. Alright, bunnies love the key of G major. So that's why we're starting right here. 3rd fret on the low E string, okay? If you count through the G major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we end up on the 5th fret. So anytime you're on the E string, take a note, whatever it happens to be, down 2 strings, down 2 frets, we have an octave. Alright, so this is a G, this is the next G. Now, if we go down 2 more strings, 3 frets higher, there's our next G, which we have to compensate for the B string not being tuned to a 4th. Whatever, don't worry about it. Music theory will bore you sometimes, but it's all about learning these patterns and shapes that we can recreate, okay? So we've got 3, 5D, 8B, okay? So 2 frets, 2 strings, 2 strings, 3 frets. Now, instead of straight up hopping like that, which can be cool, you know, we're actually going to do the thing where we take that 2nd G and we're going to slide into it, okay? So this is going to be a way to kind of connect these to make it sound a little bit smoother. And then maybe you can do this over a chord, like if you have like a G bar chord. You can kind of just jump into it from there, right? So we're just kind of making like a marker in your mind that here's maybe where we're playing right now, but this is where we want to end up. However you want to get up there, you can straight up just hop, bunny style, drag it. I think that's pretty cool. But we also want to talk about where the next highest one. So we're actually doing 4 G's in one. The lowest one, the next octave up, the next octave up, and the next octave up, okay? Again, there's only 12 notes in music, including all the sharps and flats. So the 12th fret usually has a double dot on there, which is a great idea to think of mirroring passes. So we know that the 3rd fret on the low E string is a G. So we go to the 12th fret, 3 frets past that is another G. And since the high E string is also an E string, we can do the same thing on that high E string to get the G on the high E string. So we have 3E, 5D, 8B, and then 15 on the high E string. Now, I also think that to kind of add a little bit of resolution to any kind of lick that you end on the high E string by going way up here, you can turn this into a chord voicing, okay? So if you take like the bottom 4 notes of an open G major chord, you're really not even fretting the D, G, and B string. They're open. You just have to fret that bottom string 3rd fret. So we can do the same thing, but just bar the D, G, and B string and kind of get like a cool G major chord. Add some whammy to it, and then make all those bunnies out there super, super happy. And again, you can kind of add mutes in between to be like. Okay, so that's just one way to kind of jump to different things, especially if you know like a lot of cool licks off of a root note. A lot of the riff shapes that we've done are repeatable once you get to that root note. So starting to think about root notes in different locations is massively important. The other thing I want to talk about is finding an octave on the next string down, which is something that I think is kind of underrated, and I don't see a ton of players use this, especially a lot of my students. I think it kind of blows their mind when they see it, even though it's really, really simple. Like the open E string, right? This is just an E. To find the E on the A string is the 7th fret. Anytime you go down a string, if we're not going to end up on the B string, it's always 7 frets higher is going to be that next pitch, okay? Like open E. You might know that from one of the great riffs of all time. Okay, really, you can do this with anything else, like that G at the beginning. Let's take, in fact, just that G major chord. If you can count to a number and add 7 to it, you'll be a master of this technique. So work on that. 3. What's 3 plus 7? I'll give you a second. It's 10. All right, so 3E and 10A are the same note, a pitch higher. Now you can do this with chord voicings too. So if we take this kind of 2-note G major beginning of a chord, a G and this major third, 3E and 2A, a G and a B, I can just move this whole thing down a string 7 frets higher. 3, right? I think it's really cool rockin' kind of sound. You can do that anywhere. If you're doing like a 1-4-5 type thing, you can do like the low G. Take that high one, then maybe go down to a C. What's 3A plus 7 is actually also 10. So really, just kind of start adding 7 to anything. You don't even have to know what note it is. Like the 6th fret on the E string. Nobody knows what this note is, but what's 6 plus 7? I know that's a tricky one. I'll give you another second. It's 13. So one past the 12th fret on the A string. Eventually you just become familiar with this interval. Which again, I know it's the same thing as this octave, but kind of adding these little slides is something that I think sounds cool, and it's kind of like a technique that is, you know, kind of what makes an electric guitar special when you get those really cool slides and you're kind of creating a lot of direction one way or another. So it's all about octave hopping today, and I hope you enjoyed some of these licks. And if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks a lot.